friends? It's me, Bob. Hello, and welcome back if you're old. If you're new, you have stumbled upon my channel. Congratulations. Just like my brother's old website used to say. Um, Hello, and welcome. Today, we will be talking about my theory. It's for crossover and where I think it fits into the Image timeline. Typically, I do comic books and traditional media reviews, books and whatnot, and the occasional video game or two. But now it's a theory. I could not make a theory on this. On these two books right here. Crossover and Shattered Image. Yeah. They're so similar, but yet so different. And if you liked Crossover, you will like Shattered Image. Yeah. I almost guarantee it. It has dimensional merging, it has implied Batman, it has everything a crossover fan would enjoy. And that's why I think this crossover is what the average person is experiencing, while shattered, see, Shattered Image is currently going on the Earth in the Image world. I think you're not gonna get what the superhero population is experiencing in this book, because it already happened 10 years ago in this book. 10 or 20 years ago. I think it would be cool if you did get what the average person was experiencing in crossover. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't think it's kind of possible. I don't think that they're gonna openly say that, for example, Entropy's behind it. Entropy was the name of the bad guy in this. In Shattered Image. But who knows? They might eventually. I mean, they imply, like I said, implied Batman. They implied Spider-Man. There was people popping out of portals left and right in this book. And to think, I bought it for the Ninja Turtles. They're in it in number 2, but only like for a panel. Because, yeah, the turtles would overshadow the whole thing. and you don't want the turtles are like cinnamon, sprinkle or salt, sprinkle liberally, not oh I poured too much, now the whole meal's ruined. And another issue with this book, Shattered Image, is that half the characters, like I said during my live stream, which you should totally check out. I do channel updates there and what's going on in my life and just what's going to happen to the channel. But I've done them for the past 2 Sundays. So, but anyway, I pointed out that half these characters aren't owned by Image anymore. It's a cool Kingdom Come pose. I mean, what isn't? Kingdom Come was a cool book, and it's fun to homage it, but that's neither here nor there. Half these characters don't belong to Image. Like Grifter doesn't belong to Image anymore. Angela doesn't belong to Image. Half the Wildcats don't belong to Image. And I think that'd be cool to see because they obviously choose the DC side of things. They get tempted by the X-Men, but they obviously went over to that implied Batman side. You know? Um yeah. They implied Spider-Man as well, and it was like, yeah. But yeah, the crossover like this couldn't happen again today. It couldn't happen at all because Image blew itself out of the water a few years later. So, um, overall, they were both good books. I liked how in this they say it's gonna be the last chapter, but I doubt it is because they claim that all the writers are the bad guys in this issue, but I doubt that very much because writers themselves are not bad guys. Speaking as a writer myself, nothing officially published yet, but I tend to dabble. But the writers are not bad guys. The It is the actions they do that make them bad guys, not because they wrote the monster that accidentally smushed New York. I mean, you wouldn't penalize Max Shea for helping Ozymandias in the Watchmen book. I mean, it wasn't his fault. This, like I said, would be kind of like that, in my opinion. That um crossover would have happened, and yes, they would have imprisoned they would have done what they did, but at the same time, I think a greater thing like entropy in the sh- shattered image books is behind this. Because the writers themselves are not doing the evil, you know. What made them choose those bad choices? And if you look at Chip Zdarsky in the prior issue, he's not evil, so um, don't get me wrong, I can think of a few bad writers, but like Christian, but I don't think it's his characters or his writings that made him bad. I think it's the actions he took. Anyway, um, I liked when Negan in this book in crossover. I like when Negan shows up at Robert Kirkman estate, the big the big butt mansion that they claim he lives at, and he pleads for his life, and he says, "No, I know you're a good man. You wouldn't do this back when I wrote you." And then he says something to the effect of, "That's right, you're correct. I am a good man, but there's one problem with that. You're not writing me anymore." And then he does what he did to Glenn to Robert Kirkman. That part was really very funny. I mean, it was dark humor, but it was still humor. So, um, I don't think that they can wrap this up in just one issue. I think that they're leading up to a another thing, a, another part of the story, an act three, if you will. Because if you include God Country, which I don't know, I don't know if I want to read, but if you include God Country, then whatever they're planning is going to be. But I was also wrong about Booster Gold getting his own series, so when I review that, I will I'll explain myself. But um, when I do these, they're just guesses. I mean, I don't know if Entropy's gonna show up. If she does, if she does, I would eat my own hat. Buy me some barbecue sauce and I'd eat my own hat, but I'd be very surprised. But um, I don't think she's going to. Because, like I said, the odds of Entropy showing up are like um, Grifter showing up, or any member of the Wildcats that Jim Lee currently owns showing up. Cool to see, but at the same time, does it really affect these two books? I don't think so. It wouldn't detract from them finding Negan at the baseball field, him beating Robert Kirkman senseless, any of the other stuff that happened in these books. It, and it wouldn't ruin Shattered Image because the past is already there. It can't be unwritten. Would it ruin it if Badrock showed up? No. It would only enhance the book. But I don't think he's going to. I just think that it is clearly taking place in that story. Or something close to it. Because there have only been like 2 or 3 major Image crossovers throughout my knowledge in comic books, which is quite extensive. Um, there have been Shattered Image. There have been Image United, and that's all I think there's been. But an Image United never that's never gonna finish. I mean, I'd love to see it. I really did think they were leading up to the end of Image United, but obviously they were they if they are if that is the third book, they'd have to tie in the stuff with Ant, and uh, I don't know. That's a whole nother video. But anyway, I really enjoyed both these books. I really enjoy Ellie. I hope she doesn't get killed off. I will give this. I'm not doing a rating on second thought. Just good book. Bob out. That'd be cool to see the holes opening up. Okay, Mom, I'm done. But